Hello, welcome people. Hello,
Hi there, great to be here.
good to see you.
Hi
Hello.
everyone.
Yes, hello. Feel free to unmute, say hi as
Hello.
we're landing.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
You want to write in the chat where
Hello.
you're coming from.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good tomorrow. I don't know, whatever time or day you're in.
Hi there, thank you for hosting this.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Amazing. And yeah, feel free to continue to be present in the chat. Sonia will be responding to a lot of things, and also feel free to respond to each other. Love to hear where people are coming from, and yeah, just be in community with us as we're doing today's presentation. Um, I think we should maybe get started. Amazing. I'm seeing waves from space. This is incredible. Great. Oh, it makes me so excited to see where everyone's from. California, Argentina, DC, India, Los Angeles, the Bronx, Iowa. Love it. Egypt, amazing. Not that I'm not gonna be, everyone's from a beautiful place, but it's still very exciting. Um, okay, great. Should we start with the presentation, Jin? Okay. Amazing. So, welcome to our Processing Foundation Fellowship 2025 info session. Woohoo! We are really, really excited to welcome applications and welcome you, our community, to this conversation today. My name is Tsege. I've been the program manager historically at the Processing Foundation. I'm currently the community and fellowships manager, and I've been helping run the fellowship program for the past couple years. I'm going to pass the mic to one of our co-directors who's going to introduce themselves, Shin.
Hello, everybody. My name is Xing Xing, and I am one of the co-executive director at the Processing Foundation. And very much my role is focused on thinking about the future of our community and programs, and just really, really excited to be co-hosting this year's fellowship with CGA. I'm going to pass the mic to Sonia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sonia or Suyeon Choi. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the program and communications coordinator for Processing Foundation. I'm so excited for you all to be here and to talk about the fellowship program. Sige has done an amazing job over the past few years leading the fellowship program, and yeah, you guys should be really excited for it because it's a great program. And yeah, I'll start us off by reading the land and digital acknowledgements. So these acknowledgements were co-created by our team. We have no physical location. Our team works remotely in the lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Ohlone, Cheyenne, Arapaho, Lipa Apache, Lenape, and Canarsie peoples, as well as a neighborhood in Germany. We work across digital platforms, servers, and technological devices that are connected through electric wiring, traveling across the US and the globe. We invite you to meditate on this digital fragmentation that exists through colonial systems, oppressive systems. And this acknowledgement can be adapted to fit other space needs. If you wish to take a look at the full version, you can check it out on our our website. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. And it was inspired by Data and Society and Disability Futures Digital Land Acknowledgements. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. And so I'm going to move on to talk about the Processing Foundation a little bit. So at the Processing Foundation, we cultivate creative coding software and also communities to empower learners, coders, and artists to specifically shape equitable digital future. At the foundation, we really believe in this idea that software and community are one and the same, in the sense that software doesn't mean very much without communities, and because we build open source and free software, the decisions of how the software gets built is oftentimes taking feedback and empowered through community inputs. Specifically, we work towards developing a series of software as well as community projects that revolve around processing P5.js, as well as the P5.js editor and processing Android. The Processing Foundation is specifically invested in expanding communities of technology and the arts to support those who have not had equal access historically because of their race, gender, class, sexuality, immigration, documentation status, age, geographical location, and disability.
So every year we support and sponsor programs that nurture diverse communities and their projects. So I'm just going to take a short moment to run you through some of the programs that we do. This is not the extensive, all of the things that the foundation is up to, but just to give you a taste of what is kind of the context of the fellowship and the programs that it's in conversation with. And some of them really. Thank you. Please keep yourself on mute if you can. So some of the programs that we've done in the past, which you may have encountered, is outside the fellowship program, we have GSOC, which we are running again this year, which is really exciting for us. We also have, not pictured here, but PROS, the PROS program, which some of you might have encountered last year, which is going to be running again this year. Something that's really exciting about the fellowship program is that PROS and the fellowship program get to do programming together. So you'll do town halls together. There's interesting ways in which certain programs kind of overlap. We also, not pictured here, but please take a look at our website. We had a program for K through 12 teachers that ran last year that'll also be, I believe, will be running again this year. Yeah, I see a head nod from Shin, so yes, it will be. So yes, there's a whole bunch of different ways for you to kind of continue to get connected with the foundation programmatically. We have some exciting things that might be coming up in the future. So please, if you're not already, connected to our newsletter or following our social media, please do. And the fellowship is just one way to kind of be doing work with us and participating. So we really want you to be here. So that's kind of a little teaser taste. So the fellowship program has been running for quite a while now, 2013. We just had our 10-year anniversary recently, and it's been an incubator for imagining a just and equitable relationship with technology. So it's just been a really incredible space for us to be able to invest in our community, thinking equitably and creating all kinds of projects in this space and with our softwares. It's an incredibly multidisciplinary program, and this year, even more so. And we'll talk a little bit about why this year is especially so special for our creative coding community. But yes, we try to support people from artists to coders to educators who are trying to, again, create these socially engaged projects, not products. Sorry. And the scope of the work looks really different. And again, if you haven't taken a look at our Medium, which I think has already been linked in here, please do take a look at some of the projects. There are folks who are building with community in a variety of tool making things, some design, pedagogically, doing research. We had some great researchers last year and the year prior. There's a lot of different ways through which people are engaging with things that we're inviting thematically. And yeah, and this year is especially a special iteration of that.
Yes, and so I would say that our organization, when it comes to the fellowship program, the fellowship existed for over a decade, as Tige has mentioned, and we are invested in both rapid as well as long-term impact projects, right? So many people might not know, but projects such as P5JS, the software, and the P5JS editor were actually created, initiated as fellowship project almost over a decade ago right now. So for instance, the P5JS editor 2017 was a 2017 Processing Foundation Fellow project by Cassie. And these are just, a very short list of the huge variety of projects we have that ranges from technical project that where, it can be a software, it can be a perhaps a library that goes with a particular language. It could also be teaching resources. We also support pedagogical projects. We also support the creation of like an art project. So on the lower right, you see Indigmoji. They actually co-created a voice-activated game with a group of 16 years old high school students, right? So there's a variety of outputs that we support. As a software nonprofit centering on access empowerment, I think the kind of core value that we are trying to promote and trying to amplify is the idea that technological innovations can and should be powered by community participation.
Exactly. And I'm so excited to introduce a great example of what that has looked like, which is our 2023, one of our fellows, Joe, who helped steward and lead with a beautiful team of people from across the world, a project called the Data Garden Project, which you might have seen on some of our promotional materials. So the Data Garden Project, when they came to the fellowship, they were a project, kind of a loose group of people who've been doing incredible work. If you haven't encountered them in the past, please check them out. And since then, they've become a collective, and they're actually going to be one of our mentor organizations this year, which is just a great, I think, trajectory of being able to support our fellows from becoming a project to, kind of growing and expanding in the structure of their work and being able to continue to have them take up positions of leadership in the organization and in the fellowship. So we're going to watch a little quick video about her work. So enjoy.
The real heart of this, I think that's what keeps me going, is that this isn't just a coding resource, but it's a storytelling resource. It's a resource that connects young people together. When you try to get young people to learn coding, it's like you try to introduce them warmly to a software that is not very warm to learn. In terms of why P5, so that was the language that was first introduced to me. Everything about how it's built, particularly the web editor, is so playful. It's so friendly to beginners. For example, when you have an error, it has like a flower, a pink flower emoji at like the console that like, hey, this is like, and it's like such a small thing, but it's so thoughtful because it just kind of softens this feeling of like, oh, that didn't work. It's like, it's okay. Like, and kind of, so I really loved working in that environment. Growing up in Indonesia, traditionally, girls don't take up STEM as much as boys do when the subject comes up in high school or college or universities and tertiary education. We make it really clear from the start that the Data Garden is introductory. It's meant to kind of help you get past that really initial barrier of, I can learn this and I can learn code and I can be a part of community. Because our mission is sharing stories about yourself with data. And so how that is structured is that the first 3 modules, while they focus on P5 and while they focus on getting the students familiar with the JavaScript environment, but we also embed kind of like just little writing homeworks. So for example, in module 2 that I just opened up, the homework is write a short story about your surroundings. And what that produces is that, so once they get into module 4, where they start to think about their own data project, they're not like, oh, I don't know what to write about, or like, I don't know what to visualize and things like that. We kind of introduce those prompts as homework. Like, I think the stories of people who kind of grow up in, Southeast Asia and the Asia Pacific region in general, it's not monolithic. And so it's just like being able to highlight that in this really harmless and friendly and warm share your data postcard through P5JS activity. It's just a way to kind of just bring that up a little bit to light. And yeah, if it really just shifts even the tiniest bit in a girl's mind that, oh, I think I can, like, I think I can do this, a lot of amazing stuff can grow from that.
Amazing.
The real
All right. Yeah, that was really beautiful. So I think that was also the perfect video to segue into this year's theme. So very much so, we take cues from not only our kind of processing foundation community, but also external communities to think about what feels like, the scope and the theme and like a topic that our culture can be responding to at this very moment. Data storytelling came to mind for this year, and yeah, I'm going to try to pinpoint because I think the idea of this fellowship this year is really to bring in together people who think very deeply and thoroughly about data, and also people who are knowledgeable and experienced storytellers, right? How do we bring these two different ways of working with content, working with stories together? Specifically, if we can like try to like pinpoint a specific ask or a specific thing that we're seeking for this year, we're really looking for proposals that either amplify or challenge or build upon existing or real-time data in order to tell compelling stories. More specifically, we are especially interested in people who have been working in the following, mediums, or maybe you haven't worked in these mediums before, but you're very interested in diving into them or have some, ideas that you're excited about that will relate to the following discipline. And they are interactive fiction, time-based media, which, actually is a very broad term. It can, go into many different kind of like subcategories, such as videos or games or, anything that relies on time as a kind of as a control medium. And theater and live performances are the kinds of intersections that we are particularly excited about this year. And in addition to that, this year's fellowship is also focused around proposals that are, either and or creative and technical, right? So you can propose a creative project. This creative project can be made by an individual. It can be made with a collective. It can be made with a community. Or it could also be a technical project. Again, I'm using these words. I'm kind of dicing up these words cautiously because, there's a lot of intersection, there's a lot of overlap, right? Just because a project's creative doesn't mean that it doesn't have technical component, and just because a project's technical doesn't mean that it doesn't have a creative aspect of it. So it's, we're very much pushing for that cross-disciplinary acknowledging like that those cross-disciplinary area exists, and that, it can be one or the other or both. So creative or technical project that incorporates processing P5JS or the new P5JS sound library. And so really thinking along those through line could be helpful in terms of helping out us understand, how you might be able to like kind of build on top of the project that already exists to, either make a, creative output or perhaps a technical output such as a library. So here are a couple of examples here. I'm aware that there are actually so many more examples out there, and if folks can think of any, feel free to share them in the chat. But this project by John Henry Thompson was called a P5 video kit, and basically it's a dashboard, it's an online dashboard that allow one to remix video in the browser. This would be one example of perhaps more of a technical project that interacts with real-time data, right? So this is another project that is actually an audiovisual theater performance that uses processing and also the Pandora library. This is another example of a P5 add-on library called P5.mapper. And this project makes it possible to do projection mapping with P5, which, in this case, of course, it's again, interacting with real-time data and contributing to field such as theater and live performances. This is another project that kind of demonstrate the kind of bridging between the digital and the physical. So P and Brother by Golan Levin, Ling Dong Huan, and Tatiana Mastako translates processing